Hi guys, welcome back. For those of you that are new, my name is Amber and this is oohaahcrochet. This is going to be a different video today completely. For some of you that are not new, that you've been following my journey, this is a crochet channel, absolutely. I do give you life information also. Today's information is going to be about my year on Carnivore. So Carnivore is just basically meat. You eat all the meat you want until you're full. You can add spices. You can go strict carnivore. You can go the lion diet, which is only hamburger, or only hamburger, I think. There's many different varieties of carnivore. You can add spices. You can have it really depends on you and what you can tolerate. So I found out that I was very much addicted to sugar, which I really didn't realize that that was an addiction until you go through it. And meaning that if you guys would go back and watch my video about I cried over cheesecake, 100% cried over cheesecake. I cried because there was a cheesecake in the refrigerator that we got at a giveaway, and I knew how many pieces of cheesecake were in the fridge, what they look like, what they would taste like, and that if I didn't go to bed right that minute, if I had let myself stay up when everybody else would go to bed, I would have eaten that cheesecake. I would have eaten whatever else was in the fridge. I believe at the time there was also cookies and other things that we had gotten. I was so upset that I just broke down and cried. I knew that if given the chance, I would have eaten all 3 slices of cheesecake. Yeah, and then they do tell you that on the carnivore diet that you will dream of sugar, that you will have dreams of sweets and all that kind of stuff, and I was a firm believer that that's not going to happen. I kid you not that I have dreamt that I ate sweets, that I had chips, that I had just bread, and it was so real and so like in my head that I woke up feeling guilty. I woke up thinking I had ruined my diet. I mean, the guilt that just ran over me was immense. Like, I woke up crying one time because I really thought that I had done it. I really thought I had blew it, I do still drink coffee. I do still drink Diet Coke. I do have hydration packets, so I do the no sugar hydration packets to add to my water. I find that I need the magnesium. What is it? There's like 3 things: magnesium, potassium, and sodium. If you do not have enough sodium on carnivore, you are going to hurt. You will have leg cramps, you'll get sick, you could have diarrhea. There's all kinds of, it's a diet that takes, I don't even want to call it a diet. It's just a life. It's a new life. It's a new way of life. You could try it for 90 days. You could try it for 30 days. You could try it for a year like I have and decide that you are not going back. And that is where I'm at right now. For those of you that don't know, for those of you that are new and you're seeing this, because I have a lot of new subscribers. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. My dad passed away in January of liver cirrhosis from fatty liver, not from alcohol, from fatty liver, because he was overweight and the fluid was going in his legs, and he had edema, and he had lipedema and lymphedema, and his liver was so scarred from the fatty liver that he ended up with cirrhosis. And our family, my grandmother, had COPD. She also had like a leaky heart valve. So COPD hardens your lungs. It, does other things. But on top of having liver cirrhosis, my dad also had alpha 1 alpha trypsin, something like that. It's a genetic marker that if you have it, you can have, there's an easier time of heart and liver and kidney problems. And lung, kidney, no, liver and kidney and lungs, something like that. Anyway, it's an alpha 1. If you look up alpha 1 trypsin something, it'll give you the information. But he didn't have the full, he was a carrier, right? But even as a carrier, it can affect you. So had he, not been overweight for however many years, he's always been Santa Claus, always had the belly. It wasn't until probably the last 2 or 3 years that his legs just went from normal to chunks. During COVID, I had actually gone in and got tests done because I wasn't able to breathe. I had a huge, heavy weight on my chest a lot of the time. This part up here hurt. There was some other things that were going on that I wanted to have tested. They did a stress test. They did a GI and an upper and lower GI. I had my colonoscopy already, but and a heart test. And during all these tests, one of the notes was that I had already had a sign of fatty liver, and I was 42. I'm currently 46. And when I started this, July 30th of last year, I was 310 pounds. I was not even that weight. Sorry, my camera is balancing. I wasn't even that weight when I was pregnant. During my last 4 pregnancies, I have 5 kids. My oldest just turned 26. But between the 12 and 7-year-old, I was 256 pounds. I ended up getting on the Mirena, and I just, like they warn you, 35 pounds, poof, just like that. And then gradually just kept gaining and gaining and gaining. Part of that is because I also have thyroid. Part of that is also because I have EDS, which causes me to have like loose limbs and different things. There's like a bug on my phone. So EDS is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's a very complicated thing, but it basically just means that I have a genetic marker that causes my collagen to have a faulty gene, which just means like it's loose. So I wear my finger braces in case my fingers go out. If I grab a gallon of milk or press on my finger in a certain spot, if I don't have the braces on, my fingers just might drop it. You know what I mean? I've had my ankle, my knee, my hip, my shoulders, my wrist, the bones in like the top here go out. The bones in the top of my foot will go out. Just a variety of different things. This rib here will go out if I'm not in a certain spot. Anyway, that's what I have. On top of that, I now have, or I've been diagnosed with lipedema, which is just basically means that my fat cells are big fat cells. They're not normal fat cells, and in fact, there's 3 layers of fat, and the middle layer or the bottom layer has extra thick fat cells that no matter what I've done, I've lost 100 pounds. This will be, hopefully it will get down to 100 pounds again, but this will be my 3rd time losing it. Out of every single time, my legs have lost weight, but they're never skinny. They're never thin. They've always got the chunk to them. I always have hips. I've had hips and legs since I was probably and puberty, which is kind of where it starts. Lipedema can start in puberty, during pregnancy, menopause. It's a thing with hormones and different things. But if you're predisposed to it or genetically disposed to it, it doesn't ever go away. So with that, I already have signs of a fatty liver. I already have fluid in my legs. My legs are have edema in them. I have a lot of leg pain, generally. Had you asked me a year ago, I would have said my leg pain is one of the biggest things that my problem was, other than the fact that I was tired all the time. I had no energy, absolutely none. I couldn't walk a block. I couldn't walk up the stairs without being out of breath. I was having heart palpitations. What else? I couldn't lay down in bed without my ribs slipping. I couldn't go to the bathroom without my ribs slipping, meaning I couldn't take care of myself without the bottom of my rib popping out. I don't know if that was, I'm sure it's because of the weight, the extra weight that was there. I don't know if I'm more prone to it because of the EDS or if it was just because I was that big. But when you can't take care of yourself and you're 45 years old, I mean, that should just smack you right up in the head. And watching my dad pass away and watching him struggle to get dressed, I mean, my mom put his socks on, my mom put his shoes on. His feet were this thick in the end, and he couldn't even get shoes on. I don't want to be that way. So for those of you that's the background, right? That's the reason why I'm doing it. I want to be able to go after my kids. I want to be able to move. I want to be able to breathe. I want to be in less pain. I want to be able to manage my pain. And I can tell you that after a year of being on carnivore, after a year of having meat, I mean, I'd say 95% meat. I have done an occasional breaded chicken strip or breaded cheese, but that's, I mean, I haven't had any chips. I haven't had any sweets. None of that. Yeah, the only thing I've had that wasn't 100% other than the Diet Coke and the coffee is the, breading on something when I had no other choice, but it was still meat or protein or something to that effect. But anyway, and I have an occasional salad. So 95% of what I eat. I think I've had maybe 3 salads in a year, and that was just because that's what they had and I was hungry because I was not at home. My leg pain is, I would say, 80% better than what it was. I am not in constant pain anymore. As long as I take my ibuprofen in the morning, I can manage through a normal day. There are times when I take it twice a day, and that's very rare. I know that if I am doing like a craft fair or something where I'm going to be on my feet all day, I take precautions. I have my hydration packets. I make sure that I have enough sodium in that day. I make sure that I'm eating enough and I have enough fat, and all that kind of stuff contributes to whether my legs are going to be okay or not. Now, I have very, very big varicose veins. I don't know if I can find the before picture. I did send a before picture to my friend Kim because I was just like, this is just bad. But I don't know if I can find that or not. I will look for it. I don't know that I want to put that out there for you guys, but it's just right at it's below my hips. The shirt, it covers below that, but you do see my legs and how thick they were. But the veins that I have are very, very big. I had 5 kids. So I have the big blown out veins that are holding all that. That is the main source of my pain in my leg, and it's my right leg in general. But that there's, I would say 3, maybe 5 big veins that go down my leg, and eventually, hopefully, I can get those removed or cauterized or whatever they do these days. I don't know. Before they would say, you know, wear compression socks. I would just laugh at them because I couldn't get a compression sock on my foot. I mean, it wouldn't go up my calf because my calves have been big since I was 14. I worked in a buffet restaurant, and I was on my feet for 5-6 hours in a row as a teenager, and my calves were like I mean, they were solid. Not like they are now, you know, they're all floppy. But so they've been huge since then. But yeah, so that pain has gone away. I am able to breathe better, but there are moments where it's like, yeah, I still have a lot of weight to lose. So I started at 310. I just weighed myself a few minutes ago, and I am at 223.8, I think. So anyway, the total weight loss, I wrote it down, was 86.4 ounces. I went from a BMI of 51.7. Yep, you heard that right. 51% of my body was fat. Yeah. It has gone down. It's not a lot, but when you're dealing with that amount of weight, it is what it is. I'm down to 37.3, which I think is great. One thing I thought was interesting was that my water weight is low. All the swelling, all the inflammation that I have from all these autoimmune things, and you know, the edema and everything else, my water weight is low, which means I'm not getting enough water, and I drink constantly. I haven't been tested yet, but I also think I have Sjogren's, which is it dries your throat and your eyes, and you know, just different things. If I don't constantly have something to drink, I will choke. And one of my biggest fears is choking, because it just dries up, and then I could choke on air, I can choke on whatever happens to be in there. But anyway, I found that very interesting, that I am low. My water weight is low, not even a standard, it's low. The other big thing here, and I will put a screenshot somewhere in here, throughout here, my protein, when we started a year ago, my protein was 5.2. 5.2 is extremely low. Standard is 14. Standard is 14%, and mine was at a 5.2. I've been eating basically nothing but protein for a year, and I'm only at 8.2. I went up 3%, which I'm happy about, because if you don't have protein, you can't lose weight. If you don't have protein, you don't have muscle. If you don't have protein, your body's not functioning like it's supposed to. And I keep yelling at my mom, like, you got to eat more protein. Like, I can't tell you how many times, like, it has changed so much. Like, I really should have written it all down, but I sleep better. I don't have the brain fog that I did. I mean, I do have occasionally. I mean, this year's been really stressful, so it's been a year, but I don't have the brain fog. I don't have as much pain. I don't have cravings, you guys. Like, I mean, I have a hard time being around sugar because it makes me sick. Like, I can smell sugar like I can smell mold a mile away. So if the kids open up a package of caramel rolls, I can smell that sugar. If you open up a package of candy bar, I can smell that sugar. But I've always been that way. I can smell mold before you can see mold on bread. So again, 5 kids, my nose is very, very attuned to smells. So that's the only thing that really bothers me. But I'm telling you, like, I cried. I was upset. I've had dreams about sugar. And I still occasionally do. But I don't need all the bags of chips that are up there right now. I don't need to eat all the sweets that are behind me. There is caramel rolls on top of my counter right now. That doesn't bother me one bit. Because you know what? I got steak in the refrigerator. I have hamburgers ready for me to eat. I have, I mean, bratwurst and different things that I can eat at a moment's notice. Pork rinds. If you guys haven't had pork rinds, they're pretty darn good. And they're all protein. They're all protein. So why not? My mom says she can't give up pasta. She can't give up bread. She can't give... You know what? I didn't think I could either. But I'm choosing to live. I'm choosing to live for my kids, for myself, to learn from my dad, to hopefully be an inspiration to somebody else. Yeah, I want to live, and I want to be happy, and I want to try to manage my pain. The EDS isn't going away. The thyroid probably won't go away. Yeah, there's just all kinds of things that we have. I am a carrier of the alpha 1. I've already been tested for that, so I'm a carrier. My kids possibly could be carriers also, so they need to, you know, I'm lucky. I don't smoke. I don't drink. But if I had done all that stuff, I could have lung problems. I could have heart problems. I could have liver and kidney and whatever. You know, those could be all compounded because I'm a carrier for that. So there's that. But that's the other thing. I want to be able to tell my kids, hey, this is what we have. Let's try to not, you know, do that. I have gained some muscle. I have lost some muscle weight, but I have gained muscle mass. So there's that. I'm trying to work on that. Mom and I and the kids have gone swimming a lot. I can tell that I'm able to lift more or carry more or to do more things, because a year ago I wouldn't have been able to clean out a storage unit in 3 days, which Donnie and I just finished the book storage unit. I wouldn't have been able to do that. I would have been tired after the first 2 hours. And I was there 6 hours today and got it done. I can do stairs again now. You know, I couldn't do that before. There's just, we stayed at Jellystone, and I'll put some pictures in here too, but just the before and after from the last year's before and after. When I took them and I looked at the pictures, I was upset. I was happy. I was sad. I was every emotion that you can have. I was angry at myself for ever getting that big. But I was just like, oh, Lord, the difference is just so astonishing to me when you see it in a picture, and you don't really see it every day. Recently, though, I have noticed a lot more. I can see my collarbones, which I couldn't see before. I can actually see my neck, which I couldn't see before. It was more of like this. I can see my wrists, which this fat layer used to be up here. So this cuffing, which is what the lipedema will do, is it will cuff. You'll still have a wrist, but it'll cuff at your ankles and your wrists. So that has gone down. That inflammation or that fat or whatever has gone down, and I can actually see the bones in my hands, which I couldn't see them before. There was no like this. I couldn't do this before, and there's room. There's room, you guys. I can lay in bed and my ribs don't pop out. I can go to the bathroom and my ribs don't pop out. I can see. I lost my butt. My mom has pointed out to me, and I have noticed that my classic "that's Amber" butt is gone. There's no longer a shelf back there, which is something different than the last time I have lost the weight. That never came off before. So whatever this is doing, it's definitely changing things. So my stomach is there's nothing there but skin. There's not really. I have a stomach hernia, so that portion is still there, but the skin is just there. The losing the weight is great. The having to deal with the excess skin is something that I'm having to deal with. So this here is just an example of what my legs look like and what the skin on my stomach looks like. It's hard. When you're looking at it in a mirror, it's hard. When you have clothes on, I mean, you're covering it up. It's not as, it doesn't look as bad, but hopefully I can lose some more weight. Hopefully I can keep moving and get some more muscle. My biggest hope is that I get my proteins up to a standard level. Over a year, you guys, and I'm not even at a standard level for my protein, and that is all I've been eating, which I don't know if I need to eat more protein. There is a condition that some people have. I gotta take a drink. That they don't absorb protein very well, and I don't know if that's what I have. I mean, I don't know how you test for that. I guess there is blood work. There's all kinds of blood work that carnivore, or people, like if you watch YouTubers on the carnivore diet or the carnivore lifestyle or the proper human diet, if you follow Ken Berry, Dr. Ken Berry, there's all kinds of blood tests you can take. It is possible that being on this diet long enough, if I ever choose to get rid of the Diet Coke and the coffee, I'm sure at some point I could maybe get the thyroid so I don't have to have as much. I don't know. They do say that people, even with people with diabetes and heart problems and different things, reverse that. So hopefully there's hope. I mean, I don't mind eating what I eat, and I mean, it is me making different meals, so you have to be okay with that, unless your whole entire family is going to do it with you. There are lots of families that, you know, allow their kids to have snacks, or whatever they're going to, you know, eat. But for the most part, their whole family does carnivore. I watch a lot of different YouTubers that do carnivore. There's a steak and butter gal. There's, gosh, there's so many of them. But there's lots of recipes that you can do for carnivore. You can have, like, my best snack that I make, or not snack, my fat intake. I guess it's a snack. I don't know. Anyway, brown butter bites. I know that sounds gross. I was never even a butter girl. I was margarine 100% because that's what I grew up on. When you're on this, you go on butter. You can't have margarine because, I mean, whatever you believe, margarine is basically plastic after a certain point. But real butter, if you brown it and you take all the brown bits and you put it in a little, like you could put a, I don't know about ice trays, but you can put them in a silicone thing and then break them off. Or they make little silicone molds that you can, you know, like this size, or I have a square one that's a Pampered Chef, like granola bar maker, and I just make them in half, and that's my little brown butter bite. They're amazing. If you add cinnamon, or if you add bacon bits, or not bacon bits, not the artificial ones, the actual bacon pieces to them, they're a really nice snack. And the bacon is considered a fat, which keeps the butter at the fat level versus trying to add more protein. It's complicated sometimes. If you just stick with hamburger, steak, and salt and water, that is a carnivore diet. You can add eggs, you can add bacon. Careful on the cheese, because you can get addicted to cheese. Cheese has some sort of enzyme in there that can cause you to get addicted to it, so be careful. If you're going to try this, I would say give yourself some time and grace and know your personality. If you are an all or nothing kind of person, then just jump in. If you are, you know, you can moderate, you know, like this week I'm going to give up bread, next week I'm going to give up pasta, potatoes, whatever, you know, or candy, you know, wean yourself off of it, add more protein to your diet, like add 3 eggs in the morning, every morning for 7 days. Just add that extra protein in, that might help. I'm kind of like an all or nothing kind of girl because I have no control. No control, not one little bit. I have a very addictive personality, and if I was given the option, I would eat all of that stuff. But I know I can't. And as long as I tell myself I can't, I won't. So, because I'm all or nothing. If you guys have questions, I know this is a very long video and it'll probably take me forever to upload it. Please let me know. I will try it again, show you a screenshot of last year's pictures versus this year's pictures. And you can tell me, you know, is it worth giving up the sugar? 86 pounds in a year. On Weight Watchers, they told me 1 pound to 1.5 pounds was a good weight loss goal. And I agree with that. I don't agree that you should lose a ton of weight too fast because your body has to catch up with that. The other thing is your body on this? So a lot of the misconceptions is you should have lean meat. You should have, you know, chicken and turkey and the lean meat, deer, and you want something with fat on it. If you do not have fat on your meat and you eat carnivore, you could get very, very, very sick. Like your body can, I don't know what the exact wording is for it, but you can look it up. If you don't have enough fat, you can get very sick. So you have to have, you know, the 70-30, the 80-20, the fat ratio has to be high. Not high. It has to be probably a lot higher than what you're used to. You want a steak with a good marble on it. You want to eat the 80-20 or the 73-27 hamburger versus the 93, which is not going to taste good anyway. It's so dry. And chicken is, you want the chicken thigh with the bone and the skin on. You don't want the chicken breast, which is just dry and really no, I'm not going to say flavor, but it doesn't have any fat on it. You need the fat. You need the butter. If you can't have enough fat in your diet, you have to be able to, there are people out there that eat a stick of butter a day because that's what they need. That's how they get their fat in. You can do sardines. You can do different salmon is good. But sardines are an amazing source of nutrients. You don't really need extra vitamins, you know, like they tell you vitamin D, you have to have broccoli and different things. Not vitamin D. Let me get mixed up. Anyway, you don't have to have vegetables to get your vitamins. If you are eating the proper meat, you can take supplements, but be careful with your supplements because they could be all sugar, especially if you're taking gummies. Those are completely, yeah, those aren't great. But they're an easy way to take a vitamin if you have to do it. So what else was it? I'm rambling. I'm very sorry. Hi, this is Amber. I ramble a lot because I have, my brain thinks of 10 things before I say the first thing. I've always been that way. I can't stop it. Donnie and I always have different conversations. He's 2 conversations behind what my brain is thinking, and then he gets upset because he has no clue what I'm talking about. So there's that. Anyway, you have to have fat, is what I'm trying to tell you. So, but your body will fat adjust. That's the whole, sorry. That's the whole point of this whole ramble, was that your body will fat adjust. You will go through a transition that you may have like diarrhea or bowel problems. You may have leg cramps, and you may have like caffeine withdrawals or sugar withdrawals or whatever. Your body is going to dump all that toxin, right? It's got to go. So as you up your protein and your fat, your body is losing that sugar and all the carbs, and you're basically doing just like a dump of toxin. And that's why some people get sick. But if you have your electrolytes and your magnesium and potassium and sodium, it helps to balance all that out. There's lots of different things you can take. Like Element, I think, is a lot of what the carnivore people take. I just get whatever I can that has no sugar. There might be a sweetener of some sort, but like I said, less than 5% of what I have. I don't even think I register maybe 1 carb a day, if that, from all the different things I'm taking. I do still take vitamin D. I do still take my thyroid meds. I do still take ibuprofen. I take a vitamin B just because I'm so low in those vitamins that I need that. The other thing, if you're still watching this far in, I thank you for watching. But the other thing is, I have not been sick. My kids and Donnie have been sick. They have gotten colds and different things. Donnie was out for 2 or 3 days at least in the last winter. I sleep in the same bed with him. I'm around 4 kids in a very, very small house, and I didn't get sick. I would have been sick before. I would have been sick a lot before. It doesn't happen. I mean, it's got to be because of what I'm doing, because my body is not susceptible to that anymore, which is great. It's not like I don't, wash my hands and keep my distance, but it's definitely given my immune system a boost, I think. It allowed me to go to the hospital, take care of my dad, take care of my mom, and do, all this stuff while everybody else was sick, and they couldn't see them, and they couldn't go anywhere, So lots of benefits. If you're willing to try it, like I said, try it for 30 days. See if you can get through it. See if you notice a difference. It does take a little bit to get that jump start. Especially if you're a guy, you might lose 14 pounds in a week. You might lose that naturally in a week because guys are different. I would say I noticed a significant difference within 2 months, so 60 days. There's lots of ways you can do it, lots of ways you can get started. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. I'm on a journey, and I want to live my best life for me, for my kids, for Donnie, for my mom, for my sister and my nieces, for the rest of my family. I want to be here. So I intend to stay on this maybe indefinitely. I've been thinking of, about adding certain things in. They would be vegetables. If I added anything in, it would be tomatoes, maybe, I don't know. Tomatoes and onions, which is one of the things that I miss, are nightshades. So, and they tend to be very inflammatory. So if I did add anything in, it would be that maybe maybe once a month, or maybe once every other month or something. Like, it wouldn't be very often. It would be a special treat. I would rather have a tomato and onion than a piece of cake. So that's my honest truth. Again, thanks for watching. If you're still watching, I appreciate you. I will keep you updated on how it goes. And yeah, any questions, let me know. Thanks, guys. Bye.